Hi guys, Lindsay here with Storybrook Family Farm. The last few days have been pretty busy, honestly. I've actually been getting way more sap from the trees that I can actually cook down or that I can process or handle at this point. So I think before next year, I'm either going to have to tap fewer trees, which I don't really want to do that, or just build an actual like structure to help cook down the sap. Because as it is now, with using the turkey fryer and then having all these barricades put up around it, I mean, it's the most janky looking thing you guys could imagine. I've got 3 folding tables around a turkey fryer, and then I also have cinder blocks around the turkey fryer as well, closer to the turkey fryer than the tables are on the outer side, just to try to help combat the wind. We've been having a lot of wind recently, which, as you guys know, the field across the road there, it just creates kind of a wind tunnel between our hill and all that. But it's been insane. The last couple days, I've actually had to keep coming back in and out, in and out, in and out all the time, just to keep making sure that my propane burner is staying lit, because it's been so windy that even with that thing cranked up, like it sounded like a jet engine, it still keeps blowing out. So that's been very frustrating, very difficult to deal with. I've also been getting so much sap that I cannot physically process it all fast enough, and I don't have enough jugs to store it all in. So it's been kind of a bummer to know that basically the trees are just overflowing their jugs and it's just dripping out all over the ground. So that's kind of a bummer, but I mean, I can only do so much. So even with cooking down the sap as fast as possible, I think the most I've cooked down successfully in one day is like 7 gallons. So when I'm getting 13 gallons in a day, clearly there's a bit of a deficit there. So thankfully it got cold yesterday, so it shouldn't have really ran much yesterday, but still it's kind of a struggle to carry that many jugs of water in and out of the woods up and down this hill. So it's basically been like every day is leg day. So it's been, at least I know my legs are in good shape for the gardening season. So I do actually have to start PT next week for my back injury. It is a good bit better since being on the steroids from being sick, but it still is giving me grief. So even though now I can like bend over and take care of my socks and shoes and doing everything else myself, and I can walk around without as much pain, anytime that I have to lift anything of any sort of weight, my back lets me know that that is not a good idea. So it makes gathering sap very, very painful. The other day I carried 6 gallons out of the woods at one time, and I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. Like carrying it down the steep hill. So like I said, I've got some serious changes that I'll have to make before next sugar season. But I mean, that's like 11 months from now. So I mean, I've got plenty of time. So I think what I'll end up doing is probably go 4 courses high, maybe 5 courses high, something like that, with cinder blocks to go around a turkey fryer, and then I'll put like a little roof over a structure, something of the sort like that. Because that's been something that's been a struggle too, is when it's raining, I don't have a method to cook down outside, because, you know, obviously the pot just keeps filling up with more water, so it's kind of defeating the purpose of cooking it down. So beyond that, I think the only other things that have been going on is I was able to clear out the grape area, so that way I can eventually work on building the farm stand there. That is something that definitely needs to wait until my back is in better shape and the ground stops going through the freeze-thaw phase that we're in, just because of the fact that since there is so much wind that comes from the front of our property, I want to make sure that at least I can sink in the back posts of the farm stand, even if it's just a foot or something, just so that way it's less likely to be able to be like thrown. So I had a friend before that had a farm stand that every time the wind blew, she would be like, dang it, it fell over again. And I don't want to deal with that, just especially because I know how intense that wind can be. So I'm hoping that this will be one thing that, you know, build it once, it stays good for, you know, 20, 30 years, to where I don't ever have to really mess with it again or worry about it again. But so other things that have been going on is when we went to Menards over the weekend, I did get paneling, so that way I can cover up the laundry room window area where there once was a window. So now I did that yesterday. I got that all covered up, all sealed up. So now it doesn't look like on the inside, it doesn't look like there was ever a window there. So that's going to be really nice. So that way today I can work on building the countertop for there, and then eventually work on creating the floating shelves to give us more storage space. And then that'll also be kind of like a little breakfast nook area, but also just more counter space for prepping things and for, you know, setting produce and things of that nature on. It has been kind of a struggle for us with the way that our kitchen layout was before. There just wasn't very much counter space to set produce, to set goods, to work in, to function in, to do much of anything in. So with rearranging things again, and changing where everything is going, it's definitely created a better flow for in the kitchen. So that'll be today's project, just working on that. And then this weekend we're probably going to work on trying to install the dishwasher. So that'll be nice to get that in, at least to start making progress towards that, because we've owned that thing for about 7 months now, and it's made its way to the kitchen finally, but it's definitely still in the box, so it'll get done. It's not high on the priority list, so hopefully this weekend, maybe it'll get done. But if not, it can wait. It's just been one of those things where I've really been having to pace myself and go very slow and steady with everything that I'm doing because of having the injury to the back. So it's been hard to dig stuff, it's been hard to work the soil, and I know that this year we're going to have to establish different gardens and build raised beds, so it's been definitely one of those going very slowly forward. So now not too much has been happening. It's just been me working at like a third of the speed that I normally can, and it's been really hard to have grace for myself and my limitations right now, because normally I would have had a lot more done by now. I really would have, but it is what it is. I can't change any of that. So anyways, my hands are getting cold. The sun is deceptively warm today. It is not as warm out as it looks. So anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.